If you grew up with the Wii, you likely have fond memories of various aspects of the console, from the clean white interface to the weirdly good iconic music and outstanding library of games. But chances are there's something else you remember, something that shipped alongside nearly every Wii. A free game so good that articles at the time called it the console's killer app. That's right, I'm talking about Wii Sports, baby! Calling it a killer app sounds a bit hyperbolic, but in a lot of ways it's perfectly true. When you think back to the Wii, chances are, at least in part, that you think of Wii Sports. It's part of the console's identity, and for good reason, too. Wii Sports is a goddamn masterpiece. Let's just start with presentation. Wii Sports is a work of minimalist perfection. The title screen and its iconic music set a chill, upbeat vibe, but then the game is straight to business. On the main menu are 5 giant buttons for the 5 included sports. To the right is a preview image, just in case you're illiterate, but also to give the menu an extra splash of color. Below are 2 final buttons, one for training and one for Wii Fitness. And that's it. Absolutely everything it's possible to do in Wii Sports can be reached through at most one submenu. This game does not want to waste your time. This simple menu alone puts it leagues above other games like Sports Champions, Connect Sports, and even the recent Nintendo Switch Sports. But once you actually get in the game, god damn, Wii Sports understands something very important about casual gaming, and that is that less is more. The graphics are super simple and stylized, with a lot of detail work accomplished using textures and clever perspective. And if you've seen my video on the subject, you know I love me some stylized graphics. Couple the bright, glowy environments with the kind of off-kilter appeal of the Mii avatars, and it all comes together to craft dozens of little touches that take this otherwise fairly sterile, minimalist game and imbue it with a deep, thoughtful charm that simply oozes out of every corner. From the Mii crowds bouncing up and down to the shocked and disappointed when you accidentally drop the bowling ball, to the laughably upbeat announcer. The small details add up to lift Wii Sports far above its Call of Duty as a simple pack-in sports game. This extends to the sound effects too, the sharp crack of the baseball bat connecting, the whooshes and thwacks of the tennis rackets and golf clubs swinging through the air, and the satisfying crash of rolling a strike in bowling. And of course, it has to be mentioned, the music. The music in this game goes so fucking hard, far more than it has any right to. Much like the Wii system tracks, the music of Wii Sports has taken on an iconic life of its own, perhaps more beloved than even the game itself. And just a side note, if you like the music in Wii Sports, I highly recommend checking out the unofficial Wii Sports soundtrack by Gabriel Gundaker. Aside from sheer style, what really makes Wii Sports incredible is that it is the perfect companion game for the Wii. Not only is it genuinely fun, which I'll come back to, but it also teaches you how to use the Wii. By navigating the menus with the pointer and swinging the Wii Remote around and seeing how it cleanly maps to the actions of each sport, Wii Sports intuitively demonstrates in real time the capabilities and features of the console. I wouldn't say any Wii games have particularly crisp graphics, but Wii Sports is about as clean as it gets, which further helps even the most technologically inept players become accustomed to the 3D environments of modern video games. On top of that, the game is still enjoyable for those players. Even the worst of the worst players can just flail around wildly and something will happen. They might not win, but they'll still be actively playing the game. It's extremely accessible. Couple this with tons of hidden depth and mechanics in each sport, like the different throws in baseball pitching or spinning the ball in bowling, and the game has an equally high skill ceiling. This is something I personally really value in casual games. I hate feeling like the outcome of a game is completely random and out of my control. Contrast this with Nintendo's more chaotic party games like Mario Kart or Mario Party, where the game forces everyone to stay competitive by completely kneecapping skilled players through excessive randomness. In Wii Sports, by comparison, the outcome almost always feels fair, with the better player winning the vast majority of the time. Hell, the game even gives you a skill rating for each sport and shows you how it changed after each game. Being bad at Mario Kart would absolutely suck ass were it not for the items. Being bad at Smash Bros already does suck ass. Wii Sports? Not so much. I guess it's just a difference in philosophy. Make the game fun to play even when you're losing, and it won't matter that the best player always wins. Of course, we've got to talk about the sports. Wii Sports features 5 sports, each of which have their main game mode along with 3 training modes, and I guess those are a good place to start. Training not only provides a nice break from the game, but also genuinely helps you improve. Some of the training minigames are actually really hard, especially for baseball and tennis where the main skill is aim and it's all in real time. The golf ones are along the same lines, but it's, golf, so you have time to line up the perfect shot. And the boxing minigames are more about performing a certain task over and over under a time limit. And then there's bowling. Man, the power throws bowling minigame is actually one of the greatest things ever created. The monkey brain satisfaction of repeatedly throwing a ball at an increasingly absurd number of pins just never gets old. I remember playing this minigame over and over as a kid. Finally, on the main menu there's a button for Wii Fitness, which has you play through 3 random training games to determine your fitness age. It's a cool little novelty, but really doesn't add anything to the game. I completely forgot it existed before making this video. Then, of course, there's the 5 main sports, the first of which is tennis. Tennis can be played with 1 to 4 players, but it's always 2v2. Personally, it's probably the most boring sport in the game. That's not to say it's bad or lacks depth, but I don't think the depth shines through as well as it does in other sports. It's really a game of patience, of endless volleys back and forth, in the end decided by a single minute mistake.
30 all!
It's fun for a couple rounds, and I'm sure some people out there love it, but it's definitely not my first choice. I do have to say though that for some reason the tennis post-game music sticks out to me as being the most Wii Sports song. Baseball is one of my favorites. I don't know how Nintendo managed to take what is a fairly complex game with a lot of players on the field, each doing very different things at the same time, and simplify it down such that it can be played by just 2 players. Each player switches between batting and pitching, with all the other characters being NPCs, and somehow it works. In my opinion, baseball is the best multiplayer game in Wii Sports, coming down to the mind games that happen between the batter and the pitcher. Which type of throw, how fast, whether to swing, when to swing, etc. You might think that having all the other action take place outside the player's control would be super annoying, but it's really more entertaining than anything. Seeing the little Miis bob up and down running after the ball, making silly faces, it's just super charming. And also, this is a small thing, but I love how the UI telling you the score and inning is integrated into the stadium. If baseball is my favorite, then bowling is a close second. Obviously, taking after real bowling, you're playing more against yourself than anyone else. Wii Sports Bowling really kicks the charm up to 11. Couple the goofy crowd, long game time, and being the only sport in the game with music while you're actually playing, and it's no wonder why Wii Bowling has really taken on a following of its own. I will say, bowling, along with golf, is really when you feel the lacking ability of the original Wiimote, as the rotation of the ball, while still predictable, seems to have no actual relation to the direction you twist the controller. It's a small thing that doesn't really detract from the game that much, but it is an annoying thing you have to remember. Golf is, well, it's golf. Moving on. No, in all seriousness, golf in Wii Sports is pretty good. I like that they let you pick between 3 and 9-hole games, and I think the division of difficulty is fairly accurate, taking you across a pretty wide variety of different courses. This one by the sea is, of course, the most iconic, and probably my favorite, even if it's pretty difficult. Other than that, aside from putting being rather infuriating due to the Wiimote limitations, there really isn't much to say. It's golf. It's good. Finally, we have boxing. I've never been a big fan of boxing in Wii Sports. It's definitely the sport I played the least as a kid. Additionally, something about boxing has always felt kind of off to me. Maybe it's the dim, washed-out lighting, the piercing whine of a crowd that extends off into the darkness, the a little bit too eager for violence announcer. Or maybe it's the way the Mii's fucking contort back into position after briefly experiencing the cold grip of death. I don't know, one of those things. Anyway, it's pretty easy to see that boxing has a lot of depth. Much like baseball, it mostly comes down to the mind games, making it a really fun 1v1 with a friend. The post-game music is an absolute banger, and boxing is also the main sport from which the mat meme arose. Not only being the champion you fight once you reach the pro rating, but also the very same guy who trains you in the training games. Truly a story for the ages. Wii Sports was a defining title for the Wii, coming for free with almost every console sold, and introducing the world to motion controls that didn't completely suck. As far as I can tell, a standalone copy of Wii Sports went for around $40 back in the day. Compare that to Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo or The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition on the GameCube, both of which offered multiple genre-defining games, and it's pretty easy to argue that Wii Sports isn't exactly the highest value pack-in game Nintendo could have included. And of course, other historic pack-in games have a much more renowned legacy, like Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World, and Sonic the Hedgehog. But in terms of how well each of these games fit their respective consoles, Wii Sports takes the cake. A lot of these games kind of just happen to be on their respective systems. Like, there's nothing about Sonic the Hedgehog as a game that connects it to the Sega Genesis, aside from people looking back and seeing it as the Sonic game on the Genesis. When it comes to the Wii though, whether it be the specific set of hardware and peripherals, or the overall character of the system, it's hard to imagine Wii Sports living anywhere else, and obviously the name doesn't hurt. In that sense, Wii Sports is perfect. When you think of the Wii, you think of motion controls, minimalist interfaces, fire music, and Wii Sports. Nintendo themselves tried and failed to recapture that magic last year with Nintendo Switch Sports. clean, modern, flashy, with online play, but something was missing. That beloved off-kilter Wii charm is something I don't think will ever be replicated. In recent years, pack-in games have fallen out of fashion with the rise of digital storefronts. Wii Sports, however, lives on, through memories, through memes, and through music. Truly a console seller, a console definer, a killer app. Wii Sports remains a masterpiece in charming simplicity. Thanks for watching.